We just got our first bit of story details about the Batman Part 2 from the director Matt Reeves, including who the villain might be, so let's get into all the best news. So the first thing director Matt Reeves came out and said about the movie is that it's going to be very similar in how realistic this is to the first Batman movie, and they're never going to get into a lot of the more fantastical elements of Batman in this series. Now, we did say they might do some things that push to the edge of fantastical, but we would never go full fantastical. So think of things like the fear toxin for Batman Begins with Scarecrow. I think that's about as far as these movies are going to go into the fantastical realm. He said it was important to find a way to make these very popular characters translate into a Gotham that feels like it could happen in our reality. Now, I know some people are kind of mad about this news, but I honestly kind of love it. I've been asking for this ever since the first Batman, for them to keep the same tone in the second one. I think this murder mystery style works so well for this. And plus, we're getting James Gunn's new DCU. I'm sure his Batman that's happening over there with the whole Bat family is going to have all sorts of fantastical supernatural villains like Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and more. He did actually name drop in this interview Gentleman Ghost, who we just saw in the Batman Cape Crusader show, as an example of a villain that would be way too far in the fantasy realm to ever show up in his movies. But he didn't just say where the movie wasn't going to go, he also gave us a direction for what's going to happen in the second film, saying it's going to dig deeper into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it goes into places he couldn't even anticipate in the first one, which leads me to think this is going to be one character or characters in particular. That being the Court of Owls. This is essentially a secret society that has been around since the founding of Gotham, and they pretty much have their hands in every single element of everything that's ever happened in Gotham City, just pulling the strings on everything. And with him saying that this is going to go deeper than anybody could ever guess, this seems like the perfect fit. Now, the Court of Owls also control this group of assassins called Talons that kind of go out and do all their dirty business for them. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is this does seem like it would be very similar to the Batman movie, with the Riddler kind of eliminating a lot of the prominent figures in Gotham if they go this route with the Talons, but there's still a lot of potential for the Court of Owls as the villains, in my opinion. Just like how the Batman Part 1 had multiple villains with the Penguin, Riddler, the Falcons, and all them all over that movie, I think the Batman Part 2 is going to also have multiple villains. I think Hush would be a great addition next to the Court of Owls. He would fit in with the grounded nature of the movie perfectly, and we do know that he's confirmed to be in this universe because the person that turns into Hush, I won't say it because it's a spoiler, he is confirmed to be in the movie because he was name dropped in the first Batman. And even in the same scene where they do name drop the character, they have the words Hush written over this, and they're talking about Hush money, but this is obviously an Easter egg to Hush the character, so I do think it's very likely he does appear in this movie. He could very easily be controlled by the Court of Owls because he has the goal of wanting to destroy everything about Bruce Wayne and Batman's life by taking out the ones closest to him or something like that. I think it could work perfectly. If they don't do Hush, I would also love to see Matt Reeves' version of Scarecrow. Obviously in Batman Begins, we did see a realistic version of this character with the fear toxins. I think Matt Reeves could do something slightly different, but still have a realistic take on the character. My only concern is if they do this and the Court of Owls, it would be very similar to Batman Begins with the League of Shadows and Scarecrow, so we'd have to make it his own unique thing in some way, shape, or form. Other villains I would like to see show up in this would be Poison Ivy. I know she's more of a fantastical character, but you could very easily have a realistic version of this. Just have her be someone that's very good with different poisons and stuff. You don't have to make her like an actual plant person like she is in a lot of different adaptations. Or Professor Pig, I think, would fit into this universe perfectly. Let me know, who do you want to see as the main villain in the Batman Part 2, and anything else you want to see in the movie, let me know in the comments below.